Hi, I'm James Asbell, founder of Ciders of Spain. Thank you for ordering the import kit for Cider Summit. And I really want to thank Alan Shapiro for including us once again in his events. He's been a great supporter of Ciders of Spain since 2014.
I'd like to tell you a few things about Cider 1947, which you have in your Cider Summit tasting kit. You know, starting this company in 2012 was a leap of faith. Our mission was to bring the ancient tradition of single ferment, unfiltered cider to the new American cider community. We are proud to have Cider 1947 included in your import tasting kit. I hope you will see that stylistically, 1947 is the leading edge of innovation in Spanish cider making. Our initial selection process began in 2012 at an amazing annual event in Asturias. It's always held during Easter week, and for a few euros, you can taste the spring release of more than 50 cider makers. That's where the cidery, Viuda de Angelon, first came to my attention with their very deep, earthy Cidre Natural. It impressed me so much that as I tasted it, I sent a text to my daughter back home about how the aroma was like being nuzzled by a horse. Her reply was, "Ew, gross." But obviously to me it wasn't. That memorable taste led me to Cidre of Viuda de Angelon in the town of Nava. The Llagar, or cidery, is run by the five sisters and brothers of the Ordóñez family and was founded in 1947 by their father Alfredo. The youngest, Francisco, is the head cider maker. Fran Ordóñez is rare among Spanish cider makers, having studied enology at the Universidad de Valencia. He interned at wineries before returning to Nava, where he applies his technical education to a magnificent tradition and sensibility learned growing up in the Llagar, while infusing it with technique and innovation. In my mind, 1947 demonstrates, more than all their other ciders, Fran's total mastery of his profession. With it, he has made a successful Cidra de Nueva Expresión where others have failed. I read the name Nueva Expresión as a double entendre, meaning both new pressing and new style. The style was conceived by Asturian cider makers as a way to transform their traditionally rustic drink that requires a flamboyant, if messy, pouring technique, escanciar, that we call the long pour here, into something that might actually appear on the wine lists of fine restaurants abroad. Now, by abroad, I include even Madrid or Barcelona, where drinking cider remains, even today, an anomaly, mostly limited to a few Asturian or Basque ethnic restaurants, or for the entertainment factor of the long pour at a handful of showcase cidrerias. Using filtration for clarity, others have not succeeded in producing a Nueva Expresión cider that presents more than a shadow of the hearty, full-bodied character of traditional Cidre Natural. I have tried many of them. So how does Fran do it? First of all, he doesn't filter for clarity, which kills the Cidre just as it does so many ciders made here in the US, stripping rich mouthfeel and flavors carried in the sediments, leaving a thin, watery drink. For clarity, Cidre 1947 is fined gently with bentonite, which bonds to the sediment, precipitating to the bottom of the vessel where it stays, too heavy to dissolve again into the liquid. But first, 1947 starts with Angelon's most complex and luxurious blend of some 14 apple varieties, double their usual varietal blend. After pressing, the normal wild yeast fermentation is started in stainless steel or fiberglass tanks, rather than the traditional chestnut, to minimize the entry of oxygen through the porous wood and restrain acidification, the sour component of traditional cidre caused by acetobacteria that exist among the microbes of a natural fermentation. When the residual sugar level is still adequate to sponsor a restart of fermentation, Fran arrests the process by chilling the cider and transfers it into smaller, by Spanish norms, 50-gallon chestnut barrels. These barrels are kept in a very cool part of the bodega so that the temperature of the cider comes up very slowly, yielding a gentle restart and subsequently slow ferment that takes a minimum of 6 months. Like a pet nat cider, CO2 generated during the second phase of fermentation is preserved in the barrels and passed to the bottles with counter-pressure filling equipment. The result is a crystal clear cider with golden tone, intense but fresh aroma, light tannin, and modest sweetness and long finish. Most extraordinary, however, is a very special creamy mouthfeel that is rare in ciders. 2 years ago at Viuda de Angelon's bodega, Fran showed me some new American and French oak barrels he had bought for maturing the 1947. I was surprised and doubtful. To me, it is the neutral flavoring effect of chestnut that sets Spanish Cider apart from barrel-aged cider we make in America. I will use them con mucho cuidado, very carefully, Fran assured me, for more complexity. Well, the Burgundy-style bottle of 1947 that you have in your kit is this new blended version. The older ones, in the tall, straight-sided Bordeaux-style bottle, is the unblended version. Indeed, the flavor of what you have is rounder than the old chestnut version. A very subtle vanilla note from the oak renders a slightly sweeter experience at the same residual sugar level. Now, personally, I like my cider dry, and I miss the edgier taste of the old 1947. But that's just me. Remember, I started this company to promote in-your-face Cidre Natural, but I would have been crazy not to build a portfolio without a broader appeal. The new 1947 is a win-win for us because it is a very sophisticated cider, complex, nicely acidic, but with some notes more familiar to American cider enthusiasts.
If you like the 1947, you can reorder from pressthenpress.com, as well as anything else in our portfolio. And we have a quarterly subscribers club, La Pomerada. You'll get a 10% discount on any of our ciders that you order during the quarter you order a subscribers kit.